It really does. It kicks the can down the road just for 45 days. And as you remember, the last time President Biden was supposed to come to Australia, he was supposed to come to Sydney for that Quad summit. But he didn't end up coming because there was a different economic crisis back home, and that was about the U.S. debt. This time it was government budget. And what's interesting is that in 45 days from now, the U.S. will be hosting APEC, the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Group. And it's a question of whether he will be able to attend it or whether he will once again be having to navigate these budget crises.
Yeah, and it's just the small core of hardline Republicans that seem to be constantly wanting to blow up the government. What did you make of Kevin McCarthy, the leader of the House, and how he managed it, getting Democrats and Republicans together?
He surprised everyone, including Democrats. When McCarthy was chosen as the Speaker, if we remember, it was 15 votes it took him to become Speaker of the House, which is unprecedented in modern times. But when he was chosen, he followed a number of speakers who were, more substantive than him, to be honest. You had Nancy Pelosi, who is a big proponent of health care and standing up to China and human rights there. You had Paul Ryan, who prioritized taxes. You had John Boehner, who prioritized education. McCarthy is a guy who everyone says just liked to take photos with celebrities. He was just someone who was palatable to the MAGA Republicans and the more moderate conventional Republicans. But interestingly, that ability to be palatable to people includes being palatable enough to Democrats to get them to vote for a bill. And that's exactly what they did a few days ago to escape this another self-imposed calamity in Congress.
Yeah, even though he may now face a challenge to his leadership, we'll see how that plays out. Notably, though, Democrats had to agree to this bill that has no ongoing support for Ukraine. How are they going to get that back into the next bill?
Well, right now, there's, as we may know, Matt Gaetz and some of the more MAGA Republicans are talking about trying to remove Speaker McCarthy from his position. And what McCarthy's team is doing and his allies in the more moderate faction of the Republican Party are doing is they're reaching out to Democrats saying, hey, maybe if we work out some sort of deal, we can save McCarthy's speakership. And that includes Democrats would like to assure some financing for Ukraine moving forward. That is something that both Mitch McConnell, the Senate Republican leader, as well as Joe Biden have both said is a priority. And I think that's likely something that we're going to see in the next few days.
Okay. Dianne Feinstein, who, we saw continuing to serve despite being gravely ill, frail, for most of the last part of her time. She passed away, sadly. Quite the legacy, even though it was becoming tricky with her, being there. Who's going to replace her? And is it difficult to replace someone like her?
It really is. She was an iconic woman. She was the first female president of the San Francisco Board of Supervisors. She was the first female mayor of San Francisco and the first female U.S. senator from California. And she was the senator since 1992. So we're looking at over 30 years. And she authored the 1994 assault weapons ban. She was a chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee. She led a sweeping and unprecedented investigation in the CIA's post-9/11 torture program. So she really is quite an icon. But as you said, at the end of her time in the Senate, it was becoming, frankly, embarrassing for her team that she, at times, literally didn't know how to vote. She didn't know what was going on because she was so frail. She was away from the Senate so much that she was missing key votes. And that was really frustrating to Democrats because there's basically a 50-50 Senate right now, and they can't afford to miss one vote. But her replacement is LaFonza Butler, who is the president of Emily's List. It's a political action committee that raises money to help elect Democratic women who support abortion rights. And she's significantly younger and energetic, and she'll be replaced. She's been replaced by the governor of California, who decided that. And she's only, though, I should note, in office for sure until the end of 2024. In November, she'll be facing an election, and there's a lot of folks running against her.
Yeah, so it'll be quite a contested field by that point. It's interesting, Donald Trump has always developed these nicknames for his opponents, and he's now calling Nikki Haley bird brain, even though she's a Republican, bird brain. But it took it a little far. She's tweeted out that he left a bird cage with a packet of bird seed outside her hotel room. I mean, this is beyond childish.
I mean, we have a very unconventional former president, so I think sort of unconventional behavior is what we come to expect from him. I think she's actually pretty proud of that. And it's probably one of the reasons she tweeted about, because when he's insulting you, that means he sees you as a threat. There's a reason that you haven't seen the former president insult other candidates like he has insulted her and Ron DeSantis, because both of them are sort of the leaders of the non-Trump pack for the GOP nomination. And right now, you might know that Trump is doing very well in fundraising in many ways, but they're all small dollar donors. A lot of those big dollar donors who don't like Donald Trump want to find a surefire non-Trump GOP option for them. And a lot of them are lining up for Nikki Haley, and Trump knows this very well, and so he's going out of his way to attack her.
Yeah. Before you go, Jared, what do you think needs to happen to Joe Biden's dog? I mean, there's been 11 attacks on his own security people. It's so sad, but it seems as if this young dog really is struggling to settle into the White House.
Yeah, I think the dog has been removed at times, and if there's anything we know about Joe Biden is that he's very proud of his family, and we can even see the way that he's dealing with his son being under the sort of scrutiny of Congress. He does not sort of distance himself from many family members, but apparently that includes non-human family members.
We'll have to watch and wait. It could be one of the most contested members of the family. Good to see you. Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.